Good evening, and welcome to Pyramid One Radio. Your soul is an energy. Catch it. Nurture it. Love it. This is the now. Believe in the universe and say, I am. Let me tell you a little bit about the guest coming up. Actually the host, actually a friend, actually a mentor. His name is Jamie Clark, a person who is here to help the world. He was born in Ohio. Jamie had early signs in life that he would someday be helping people with his remarkable talents. As a child, he was concerned about being different from others. With that, he was going on in his mind. Through years of studying and a series of profound revelations, Jamie discovered that he had the gift of psychic intuition and could also communicate messages and feeling between people living and those who have left this physical plane of existence. In other words, he can communicate with those who we have loved and lost. Now, with thousands of powerful connections made worldwide and years of experience as his guide, Jamie offers this healing phenomenon to those who need it most. People searching for life, direction, and guidance, as well as those seeking answers and closure from family and friends that have passed. However, you can become fearless. Being in control of your destination has an empowerment. Our mind, ourselves, has the ability to create a future, good or bad, by having a read or attending one of Jamie's sessions. Not only can you understand where you are headed, but you can reprogram your future. And my favorite, to be yours. What's next? I say this all the time on the show. Jamie said it all the time on the show. Something that we believe in. Something that you should believe in. It's called unconditional love. Let me tell you some more. Unconditional love is a behavior and a feeling towards someone. Jamie says he's taught many the techniques of how to take action. Once you achieve unconditional love, your world, your whole world, will change in many, many wonderful ways. May I introduce to you, to the world, to the universe, a friend and a mentor, Mr. Jamie Clark. And there we are.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, we are there.
God, you always make me sound great. Not like yours, the voice of God. Oh. You know, it's interesting, but in the intro there, I love the fact that you say your destination rather than your destiny. Because to me, you know, there is no destiny. It becomes what you make it. The destination is there because, you know, to me, my response is, if you really think you're destined for anything, tell me you can't take your life now or now or now. You know, where'd that destiny go? It becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. And so for people to be able to do that and, you know, keep going, because we're always growth-seeking beings, no matter how many dreams and aspirations, we always have more. So half the fun is the journey getting there.
And don't forget that the destination is a path. And it only takes this to get from here to there.
And I think that's a big thing, is that kind of an attitude, that kind of a knowingness. You got to be able to put it to the test and get some reaction back to the meditation. I'm meditating all day. If you don't have an outcome, right? What are you meditating? What's the energy result of?
How many times? I mean, look, how many times did I tell you? I mean, I meditate by walking in the street at 4:00 in the morning. That's what I do. I mean, I don't sit down. I don't numb your ho to some corner somewhere. I don't look at some brick somewhere and go, oh, I don't do that. It's out of my thing completely. But to put your brain at total neutral, I mean, total neutral. I mean, like nothing coming in, nothing going out, just there. And then you take that ball of gook that's in that brain and you start pulling it apart. It's like peeling an onion. You've heard the thing. You peel the onion, you peel the onion, you peel the onion, and it goes down, 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 till you come to the core, and the core is what? I am.
Beautiful. All those layers, all of those levels.
Bam.
We just need to purify that and pull it away to go, oh, those are just layers of consciousness. We get down to the real core, it's all the I am. I agree. That's beautifully said.
We talked about a lot of things, Nick, but in fact, on the Monday show with Kelly, and we talked. She might call in today, and that she knows the number. But to those who don't know the number, we have a new number, and we have this number because anybody in the world can call in. There's a little American flag on the left-hand side. When you get that number, you're going to have a little board that's going to come up, and you're going to have a little American flag on it. Click on the American flag. When it goes down, it'll show all the different countries on it. Pick out the country you're calling from, and it'll show you the number that you have to call into us. So 1,000 people can get in here and talk to us. I want to see no less than a 999. I'm
Beautiful.
Sorry, I'm terrible. But the number to get in here is 605-472-5765. And your access code, same way you would call into Blog Talk Radio, same deal, is 608060 #. That's it. You just call in, you do it. 605-472-5765 and 608060 #. And that's it.
Nice.
So come on, let me see the board light up. I feel like a guy on daytime. What's his TV? Hey, let me see the board go up.
You are the amusement.
yeah. Give me a noun. Give me a vowel.
Hey, and so on Kelly's show Monday, what was the subject? What were you guys talking about?
We were talking about love. And we really, really, really got into it. I'm talking big time. I mean, it was really, really good. I mean, it was. I'm telling you, if more people, we had people that were coming in, but where they were, it was like snowing, like six inches of snow in an hour. So the phones and everything else weren't working like they were supposed to. Obviously, some of them knocked off. That. Yeah, it was kind of. It was 84 here today.
Wow.
So I mean, it's like I feel so terrible. I mean, people are writing me and that they hate me, but. I mean, come on. I'm from New York. I mean, it was like minus 15 was like, hey, no big deal. You know what I mean? Now down here, it's like 84 degrees. So you go outside and you're like, oh, I'm going to go out and get a tan. And then you think about the people that you left back in New York, and you go, sucker. But it's like,
yeah, you had enough guts to move away. That's the thing.
I'm serious. Yeah, but you got it. You really do. I mean, really, that's a leap of faith.
Well,
because we took everything in there from Central Jersey and brought it down to Charleston, South Carolina, and then moved from Charles, Carolina, over here to Florida. And like I said, there's only one more step: Cuba. It's like, I mean, where are you going to go? I mean, if you want to go in a straight line, yeah, I'm following the ley line, right down the pike.
Well, and I think that's a big thing, Bob. Just like you said, is it takes a lot of guts because it can be very scary, and there's no guarantee on anything. But when people can see to go, okay, no, it was scary, and you had enough guts to do it, okay. But not only that, you felt strong enough that you acted on it, And it was the right thing. Oh, because it's that action that gets a reaction that people need to know it's possible for whatever you're talking about, that you've attained it. And so, sometimes it's the old adage, you got to move away to find yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And for that, no matter where you go, you're always connected. And you've always been kind of the go-between. You've been the conduit. One, with your band and all the entertainment that you shared back then. But two, with the next level of the internet web, like the universal web, you've gone to the oneness. It's all one. And so when you can bring those people and those connections, 1,000 channels in one. Oh, wait a minute, there's only one. Exactly.
Yeah.
So it becomes that kind of a connection that, if we can all come together, just like you're sharing, it doesn't matter what country, just punch that flag in and boop, there you go.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah. It's like I said, it works just like Blog Talk Radio. People keep telling me all the time, why don't you have it like the other one so you can mute the people that are on there so I can talk? Okay. So I got something that I can with one click, I can mute 999 people.
Wow.
Just
Isn't that interesting?
one click.
Look at that power.
Yep. And then the one that I want to talk to, I unclick just that one person. So I mean,
And
this is going to be absolutely great because I keep telling people all the time, you want a conference? You want a conference that you really, really want to get something out of? I can do it. Right here. You can come in. Thousands of people that can come in on this thing and they can talk, they can listen, they can do anything they want to.
see, and I think that that's a big thing. Just like that, we're all connected, and just because you're not tuning in doesn't mean it's not playing. It's always playing.
Oh yeah.
And all these technologies, any of the internet web, the universal web, the phone, clairaudient, the TV, the clairvoyant, seeing things, all of these technologies are just digital extension of what our true spiritual gifts are, because it's just a reflection from inner to outer. And so, when we can all vibe with being on the same channel, which is the web, the universal oneness, whatever you want to refer to it as, I think it's really nice, because when we start to realize that we're a galactic family, everything's relative. And not only that, that's why we're, ETs to everyone else. And we right now are living on the other side of where we come from before here. It's very relative. So it's always that connectedness that is huge.
What I was going to say was that we got all these things that going for us, and we don't realize that way back in the 60s, okay? We got moon bases. We got Mars bases. We've got all these things. We've got satellites. Look, hey, come on. The United States has a satellite that goes around the moon. Why? What do they want to look at? Dirt? Holes? I don't think so. Come on, who's stupid here? You know what I mean? Hey, it's like I wouldn't spend $1 million or so, just to have something go around the moon. And how come this is the whole thing that gets me. Why don't they put something on the moon to spin it around?
Yeah, isn't that interesting?
Yeah,
Don't you?
you can't see why can't you not? Every single one of the moons that are moon, every single one of the planets, Ned, to some degree, do turn. They do move. All right, it may take 20 years to turn around, but they still move somehow. The moon don't move.
Unless you possibly have a propulsion system in some way.
I would like blow something up going that way and blow something up going the other way, and then just have it zing right around in circles and say, okay, gotcha.
Well, and that's the thing. They're not going to be, doing that so much. But, as I've shared, just doing my work and doing remote viewing. I was trained by Major Ed Dames, and he's very good at what he does, and he worked for the military and all that good stuff. In doing my own remote viewing, I've come to understand and see, that's all I can see, folks, just from my perspective.
He's not putting himself on the line here. Don't worry about it.
Oh, yeah. We've been going to Mars for the past 30 years.
Yep.
There's water on there, there's plant, there's all of these things. And, I kind of equated that the pictures that we've been shown, for the most part, that's only just red and it's desert. And that'd be like us having the moon thing, in our desert going, that's all there is. That's it. It's just desert. And 2/3 of the planet is water with these beautiful islands. I'll tell you also, in addition, there are beings that look human that live within the Mars planet. You only sound like a job till it's validated. Watch.
Oh no! I got a clip that'll tell you a little bit about it. But what I was going to say was, if you take, I'll just give a for instance, okay, hypothetical in a sense. There is a show on TV. It's called The Arrow, and it's about a guy that dresses up like Robin Hood with a bow and arrow and everything else, and he just goes and he gets all the bad guys. Okay. Then there's a comic book that it was based on that was the original one. So you can read the comic or you can see the real show. Well, that's the difference in between what we're looking at and what is. The real show has been going on for 30 years. The comic book is what they show us. And they're laughing at us when they do it. They're going, hey, look, it's a comic, we've been doing it. How come we haven't gone to the moon for the last, 15 years or whatever? We haven't done that kind of stuff, and they're going up there, because we had some kind of problem that the guy didn't pay his rent, so they threw him out. But when you think about this, look at it in reality. You're not going to the moon, and you didn't go any further in what you're doing because you're already there. And the cartoon, the comic book is old. It's gone. It's over. Garbage. That's it. So,
but a good reference.
Yeah, I mean, all these things that they're talking about, it's a show. It's a big show. When they say, what's it, holograph, or anything. Yeah, that's exactly what we're getting. We're getting it. It's just like watching the movie Matrix. Every single time that you do it, this is not real. What is real has been going on for a long time and been whizzed right by your nose, and you're going, oh, wow, man, that's really cool. Yeah, okay, next. Meanwhile, that guy forget about it, man. He's building, mountains. Right now in Saudi Arabia, they're building Atlantis 2.
You mean like the island?
I think it's called Nemo or Nemno or something like that. But
Okay.
in fact, if I can get it on a computer while we're talking, I'll try. But
Cool.
this thing is going to be an out of mind future city that is huge. It's going to be. It's about the size. It's going to be about the size of Massachusetts. A city.
Nice.
A
That's
city. You could put 10 Manhattans in this thing.
wow.
And everything is going to be technology that we haven't seen. New things that we haven't heard of. And that they're going to spend $50 billion to just plop this thing over there. And my whole argument on the whole thing is, why are the Arabs doing it? When we're supposed to be the ones that had all the brains for all this time. And these guys are making miracles out of sand. They're piling up sand in a puddle of water or the ocean, and they're making cities. And boom, like, hey, there's a city. And they don't have earthquakes and things. Okay, you're gonna fry if you go outside for too long, but that's another story. But of all these things, they have buildings, buildings that think. The building thinks. I mean, come on.
AI.
Why? Well, yeah. Actually, to tell you the truth, in that particular city, AI may either equal or be a little over the half and half mark to the people who actually are in that city.
Over.
So, I mean, with something that you and I talked about a long time ago, we talked about AIs, and the difference and how it can take over the water, the whole world and everything. I don't think it's really going to, unless something really, like bad people get a hold of this and go crazy with it. I don't think it's going to take over anything. I think it's going to be just how would you call it? Like a help. They can do things for 24 hours a day if the battery goes that far, and we can't. We need sleep. We're organic. They are not. So what's the big deal? The only thing that we have is we have souls. They don't. We have
And that's
spirituality. They don't. You know?
that's the interesting dynamic is AI, and again, a little bit of remote viewing. I'll just say that there's a strong potential, down the road, 50 years, right around there, maybe, that AI is going to replace the governments. It's
Mm-hmm.
going to unify the world as one planetary dynamic. And with the AI, it takes out any and all emotions that humans function from with making decisions and circumstances and dynamics. And not that everything's emotionless and there's nothing, but the AI is very impressive and it builds upon itself and the knowledge that it acquires through each experience, circumstance, direction, and kind of thing. So it's always evolving, kind of like us as a species. But in addition, it's going to keep organization in a lot of ways. Watch. Little by little, they're going to phase out the medical dynamic. The next phase or wave of healing is going to be referred to as vibrational frequency targeting.
Oh, yeah.
We'll see, man. And all of these dynamics, they got to do it a step stage at a time. Remember, it's all about presentation. That's why on the news, things will be amplified multifold. That way, ooh, wait, hey, because remember, it's only matters as long as it's in the news. Once it's gone, so they amplify it multiple times so that people carry that vibe even when it's not in the news. So they always have that kind of connection. Mm-hmm. And firsthand experience, I can only speak from me, but those who know me know I talk about 30-something years ago when I used to work at Marriott Camelback Inn, and we had all the vehicles, Chrysler, Plymouth, Chevy, and all the others, that back then already working. I sat in the vehicles. I saw all of this stuff. They had night vision in the dashboard, holographic imaging on the windshield, self-parking. All of those things, where is that today? They're just now getting into the self-parking and the self-driving thing. But in addition, it's that dynamic that they've had this a long time. Any of the most advanced technology that they have out now is at least 50 years behind what they have already attained. That's why they can usually speak with certainty, because they've already calibrated most of the stuff that they present. It's all about presentation.
I don't like to talk. Sorry, I'm 100% German. So hey, listen, I can talk about my ancient friends, or not, whichever you want to go with that. Hitler a long time ago made deals with the aliens, real ones. so I mean, and half of the technology that they had over there that they worked on came from aliens. That deals that he made, this was before, this was like around the time that, or a little pre the time of the Volkswagen. Remember the Volkswagen? The people's car.
Big time.
And that's how he got under everybody's, nice side, because, look what he did. He built a car and it just for us and everything else. Oh, he's a good guy. He's a nice guy. Hey, wait, hey. And they got putting a hand up in the air, and then they didn't know that they were pointing at the wrong star. They were really, seriously speaking. But, and all that stuff that had happened, and that was just, I think, too much technology hitting too many places too soon.
They got to get a gauge.
Yeah, they had no idea, and it got out of control. Not the technology, but the people who tried to use it, because they had it, nobody else did. So now they were masters, they were gods. And when they were gods, that was it. They could do whatever they wanted to anyone they wanted to do it to. So, I mean, seriously.
And it looks like magic. They are able to do things with technology that people will go, holy, that's magic. Exactly. What we don't understand, we tend to fear. What we tend to fear, we want to crucify. But, in addition, for this, Area 51, and that's been there a long time. And, years ago, people were getting videos of ships going in and out. And the public, for the most part, was like, you're a bunch of nut jobs. Sure, there's that kind of stuff. Until there was enough saturation and attention to go, there is an Area 51, but it is, national security, and we're not silly to do this. I'll tell you, there's Area 52. There are a variety of other areas underground as well as that have this technology in a tremendous way. Tell you another thing, there's beings that live inside this planet.
That is true.
Life. And again, it's just a little bit at a time. Antarctica is one of the areas, and There's a no-fly zone for some reason over in the frozen tundra for whatever reason, which is kind of interesting.
Yeah, did you see that? That's oh, come on. That was a place. What was it? Bird was the one that was up there
Oh,
the
Admiral
first time.
Byrd, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
and he was the first guy that was up there, and I said, "Hey, there's aliens up here." So, I mean, come on.
Well,
How long ago was that ago? Whoa, that's a long time.
and that's the point. Same thing with the moon landing. There was ships on the craters, on the edges, vibing that. I got a chance to talk to one of the astronauts that were on that first flight. And as I was sharing just a little bit
Oh,
of
I would
what
have
I'm
been loved. I would love to be standing next
like,
to you.
man, he looked at me like, because I said a few things and that shifted his whole energy. And that's the dynamic is, what little I'm aware of is like, God, 99% of the planet has no clue. And it's fine, it's great. But what little I'm aware of is such a powerful, heavy energy. I'm like, I'm thankful to even have a kind of awareness of it. And that's why I'm like, shout it from the rooftops. No one has to listen. But again, you only sound crazy till it's validated. So little by little, they'll acclimate, humanity. And hey, kind of like other beautiful religions are starting to adjust. Because when our brothers and sisters are standing before us, religion, as you know it, is gone. That's why, a
That's
little
right.
bit
That's right.
the Catholic religion is beautiful. All those roads are a good road. But they're doing things that I don't believe they've ever done before. And that's a couple of things, such as the Pope saying, well, each person's spiritual beliefs have validity to them. Two, we may not be alone in the universe. And three, gay rights.
Well, come
Hello,
on. The Pope is a scientist.
isn't that
I
interesting?
mean, come on. I mean,
And
that's his roots.
I think that
Oh,
that's
baby.
phenomenal. But the ability to open up, man, love is love in all of these ways, but it's only given so much power to kind of acclimate society one way or another. And, it's that type of dynamic that with this technology, they're not silly like the drug companies. They're not going to let all these billions and billions and billions of dollars go that they were making off of the pills. They're going to
Mm.
now integrate within the new technology and the different frequencies and, calibrations and all that kind of stuff.
I want to get this
Watch.
little piece of the clip in, but let me tell you one thing that I heard the other day, and I mean, it blew me away. And I haven't done research on it yet, but I will. There's a guy that was over here in America that had this idea. Well, not an idea. He had research based on a lot of years about this compound that kills cancer. Now, I don't know whether anybody out there has heard it. If you have heard it out there, it's been on a lot of different shows. I've heard it in a lot of different places, and it's there. And I'll find it and I'll post it myself. But the thing is, they have a pill that you and it, well, let me give you. I'll back up a little bit. The guy went from America to Israel, and the reason why they do it in Israel is because there are no laws that they can take it away from you and patent it right in front of your eyes and throw it in a sheet in a safe someplace, and nobody will see it for the next 100 years. So you can't do that. So what they did was they went over there. They came out with this product, this pill that you have to take for 6 weeks, and when you come out of the other side of it, your cancer is gone. Ta-da! And that has been out. No, that's not like you. It's, I mean, anywhere between 20 to 50 years, at least, been a viable way of taking care of cancer. However, the pharmacy companies and hospitals make no, I can't say that. Trillions. Okay, that's better. Trillions on cancer. They make money on killing you or letting you die or helping you to die. Now, I know somebody's gonna write me tomorrow on my email and say, "What are you saying that for?" I'm telling you the absolute truth. The only thing that anything that you're given in the hospital, except for a couple of things, there's a couple of good test things out right now that are kind of squeaking through the cracks somewhere. But 90% of what they do is only a way to keep you viable a little longer. And the longer they keep you viable, the longer your bills are paid by an insurance company or whatever else. So you pay, say, maybe $200,000 or $300,000 for your. That's out of your pocket, not out of the insurance company. That even goes higher. So you go through all that stuff and everything else, and this pill, it's the most inexpensive cancer pill anywhere in the world. This is what they said. It's so cheap, it's ridiculous. So, and that's what they're doing. That's what they're doing. Their research and everything over there in Israel. So I'm happy for the guy because the guy had the gonads, excuse the expression, to go over there and do it. And I praise the Jews. They actually turned around, opened up their arms, and said, "Hey, come on, let's do this."
Beautiful.
I mean, they're people too, but I mean, they have sometimes they have. Well, I can't say sometimes because all the times they got big hearts. They really, really do, and they see what something is logically. This can help me.
See, and that's an interesting point because with the pill, it's very effective. But in addition, if you have to take a pill, it goes through your system in some way in order to kind of affect the cancer cells or whatever they have.
It's selective, yeah.
Yeah, they have through the vibrational frequency targeting because everything has its own unique signature.
Yep.
They can plug in that cancer signature, target it, and only the targeted vibration of cancer is affected. No side effects, nothing at all.
Right.
That's huge. Nowadays you see, and for one pill to help with this, there's thoughts of suicide. You could have a heart condition. You're trading like one thing for 30 to try to heal that. And so it becomes a dependency on one way or another through, well, you need this for that. That's why I'm saying as things go along, they'll be automated. And again, it's a number of years down the road. It's not tomorrow. But, the next 30-something years, right around there, because there's 50 as a bigger thing, but 30 as to AI and more of what it can do and how it can do and no emotional response and, all of those kinds of things. But they have to acclimate society so it's not fearful.
Look at these old people that live to 100, 110. There's the one guy that died the other day, and it was 114. I mean, where'd they come from? I mean, I'm serious. Now, even at my age, they doubled me just about. So, I mean, really, this was like a long, long, long time ago. That's before all this preservative stuff and all this enhanced this and GMO that and all the rest of this, junk they send in it. I was like, I was born in the early 50s. So therefore, everything that came out, like TV dinners. Oh, TV dinners. Oh, man. But I'm telling you, they were like, my father brought them home, and at one time he said, "Here's a TV dinner." Yeah. And it was like so Swanson, man. It was like I had it printed on my wall. But it was so cool. But all of that stuff had more chemicals in it than you could shake a stick at. And I'm still viable. People take me as being 20 to 15 years less.
Nice.
Than I really am. I mean, I'm going to be I'm going to be hitting those even numbers.
Nice.
In a couple of months. So it's going to be pain. But the idea of the thing is, all of these things that we have right now, I want to see these kids, the 20-year-olds and the 30-year-olds, and that they're going, oh well, I'm eating this, I'm eating organic, I'm eating this. I'm telling you, I want to see them someday from wherever I am, and I'm going to hover right over it. It's going to be like Bob over your head, right up there.
Get it, Bob over your head.
Oh, man, I'm going to be watching good. And I'm going to watch these people, and they're knocking off at like 60, It's like, oh, well, I'm so old. I'm serious. I mean, you see these kids. There are guys down here in Florida that are like 30, right? And I swear to God, if the wind blew, they'd be on their butts. I mean, they can't walk. They got their walkers. They got their wheelchairs. They got this. And they're all like 30, 35, 40. And I'm looking at these guys going, what did you do? It's like, what? If I go down the street, maybe, it's not just Florida because I saw it in South Carolina too. Like every fourth car has a handicap sticker on the mirror.
See, they're just proactive. That's why the 30.
I'm serious. I'm like, come on, man. I'm serious. Maybe I'm crazy, but I still want to make kids. It's nuts. What happened to me? I didn't burn out. I don't know.
Well, and that's the thing is, we're old school. Remember conversation?
Yes,
We used to
yes.
talk with each other.
Yeah, well, it's true,
Now the
yeah.
kids are looking down at their phones even when they're sitting in front of each other. And that very technology that's bringing us together is separating us. Because that's all, and I've shared that before. It was such a weird energy
Mhm.
that we have a shopping mall, a Desert Ridge area over there. Really cool, a few miles down the street. And remember the satellite thing where it was the game where you go find the characters and God, I forget what the name of that was. Anyhow, it was real
That's an
popular for
old
a
that's an
little
old
bit of
game.
time. The what?
That's an old game.
Yeah, well, yeah, but they put it in the GPS thing so that you would go to
Uh,
different locations and
yeah,
find like a dinosaur, whatever the characters
right.
were. And it was weird because there was an evening, and this was in its height, it was just new out, and people, literally 90% of everybody in a human body that was there, from young to middle to 80 and 90 years old, was all in their own world. There was hundreds of people walking around, yet nobody was connected. It was weird.
That's
It's
yeah.
just me, but to see that everyone's together, yet they're in their own individualized little reality, is exactly what they try to make sure that you keep. Is stay in your own little reality. Because it was vibing, going, God, are you guys not paying attention? What about somebody who's not paying attention and walks out in the freaking street
Right.
because I got a dinosaur thing, and then I guess we
Yeah.
started having that,
I
like,
was just gonna say that a woman walked out in front of me, and it was a green light. I was going around the corner. This woman walks right off the walk thing, right in front of where I'm turning to go around the corner. So of course I had to jam on the brakes, and the woman's yelling at me. She goes, "You got to slow down." I said to the woman, I said, "Are you freaking blind or something? Come on, take your nose out of your damn phone, you dope."
but
And
that's
I
the
was,
point.
no, I was, but I was, I wasn't nasty to the woman. I was laughing when I was saying it because it was so stupid that somebody's walking around there doing that and walks out in the street at the same time. And don't look, don't know whether it's green, red, whatever, just boop, right out there. I'm serious. I mean, it could have been, and down here in Florida, let me tell you something. The drivers down here, oh baby, we're talking Sears Roebuck licenses. I mean, they didn't get them in the TMV, but yeah, it was one of them. And I'm serious. They're like, oh well, there's a mall over there. I'm going to turn here, so they go over three lanes. No, no, they don't look to see who's coming the other way. It's just woo. I'm telling you,
And it's
they're always piled up in the middle of the highway down here.
Well, and now we're extremely much more proactive. Go, that's always a potential. So we got to be very much aware, hypersensitive kind of thing.
Oh yeah.
But it's such an interesting dynamic that it's that inner life and the outer life is just a reflection. But it's very interesting to see. I'm seeing a lot more people nowadays over the past couple of years that they're opening up to their spiritual gifts, psychic mediumship. And I was just talking to a teller this afternoon in the bank that I was at, and she was sharing that she had gone to the Mayan temples and a variety of other places, kind
Oh,
of like
cool.
you went to.
Yeah, yeah.
Freaking amazing. And she was like, well, I turned this age and I just feel like things are starting to open up. I'm starting to feel things again. I'm like, perfect. The age doesn't really matter. It's your ability to tap in and connect.
Right.
And so when she could open up and share, some of the experiences, because I'm like, look who you're talking to. But not everyone has that open receptivity. Some might be in a relationship where their spouse or whoever it might be isn't into this. And then you've got two lives going on, one who you are and two who you try to at least appease and blend in so that they don't get irritated. And so, it tends to put a challenge sometimes on our own spiritual beliefs within a relationship. And so for people to start vibing, waking up in their own relationships with their own spiritual gifts, but being a little more able to kind of balance things so that their spouse or their boyfriend or girlfriend doesn't see so much as a nut job. It's like, that is kind of weird because you said that and then it happened because it hadn't happened yet. Is that psychic? Is that what they call it? Yeah. So it loses the fear factor because when their loved one is experiencing this, they know usually for the most part who that loved one is and their connection. They know if they're one of them or that's something that I haven't experienced, but there seems to be some potential validity to that. And the good thing is, as I always say, always be skeptical, question everything, Just be open. Because with that open receptivity of practicality, so you don't become a crazy, you'll be able to get these dynamics. And that's why, again, I always say I've done the scientific studies to more quantifiably validate all this stuff to go, if you can get this and dimensional frequency merging and all that kind of stuff, maybe there's something to it. So it moves out of the, oh, yeah, to, oh, and what else does this hold? Now it's like that onion, and it's going to peel away
right.
each layer.
Yep. And that girl that you talked to, and did you also tell her that, like, hey, we're all spiritual? We just have to realize we are?
She realized that.
Yeah.
She gets that now with her sensitivity going, I was in that place and I was picking up big time. I'm like, good. And then being able to share some of the information that I'm aware of. That's it. That's all I can do. But it really feels great when they can go, I actually can open up and talk, and you don't think I'm crazy. I'm like, right, exactly. And it's really nice because for them I can feel their energy go,
yes,
totally.
Yes, that's it. Yes, that relax.
That's so cool. Yeah. And for me, because I have that and so much more to go, good, when you can open up and be you and work with your gifts in any way if you even choose to, and that it's a little bit more accepted and potentially understood in some way with your spouse or whomever you're with, it becomes more of a fun connection, and you find yourself within the relationship, not lose yourself to the relationship. Mm-hmm. So it's a big difference. And, again, we're left alone to find ourselves.
There's some people now with my morning people in that I actually, this was only the other day, it was only Monday. And, they were talking about a whole bunch of stuff. And then, of course, they pointed at me because I'm the only guy in there that has anything to say about anything spiritual anyway. So they said, what do you think? What would be a connection or something like that? What's some ideas or something? I said, well, I tell you what. I said, do you know there's nothing different between having sex or shaking someone's hand? And they said, I said, like, what? Huh? Who? What? Are you out of your mind? Bob, you're crazy. What'd you have for drink this morning?
What's your follow-up with that?
No, I turned around. I said, when two people touch each other, the energy that's formed between those two people, it makes two people one. Doesn't matter whether you're having sex or shaking hands. It's the connection between two people, because the two people that have that type of energy, it affects people around you. It gives people around you they want to do whatever you're doing. Oh, look, those people are really nice that they shook hands. And then they say, well, maybe I'll meet that guy because he looks like a nice guy. So we go over and they start talking, they shake hands with him too. And it goes on and on and on. It's like taking a bunch of, pool balls, and you put them in the middle of the pool table, and you take the one white one, take it from the other end of the table, and smack them. Just roll it right across the thing and give it a good slam. And you'll see all those balls go all over the place. Well, guess what? Each one of those balls now will touch another one and another one and another one, and as they bounce back and forth, each one of those were a connection that went on. And that was only 12 balls or something. Now, if you had 6 connections, that's 50%. So that means that if I went to a mall tomorrow, 50% of the people that were there, I could either smile, shake hands, wave to, look at, or talk to.
Yeah, right.
So I'm
you eyeballing me, boy?
It sounds strange, but I'm serious. If everybody got this in the back of their head saying, you know what, I'm going to go out and meet somebody today. It doesn't matter who they are. Could be anybody. Could be the guy like you met the one in the bank that was talking to you. There was a connection.
And not only that, when you can have that connection and share openly, that just transfers into your own life experience. Mm-hmm. Because a lot of times they'll go home, after the conversation with a solid, happy, positive energy of their own reality going, I'm not that crazy. Great. And the good thing is you're sane enough to question your sanity. That's the point. Otherwise, you could be a nut job. But to see them more comfortable. And when people can see your reaction, in my case, this is just not only what I do, but who I am. When they can see that reaction and vibe with it to go, wow, you're talking about that spiritual, is that what we call spiritual stuff? Yeah, but you feel really good. You're not like one of those freaky freaks and you scare me. and you're not making stuff up. I could go do my homework, and I'm like, yes, please do. And when they can get that with the practicality of spirituality, that starts putting other people at ease. Not only that, I see it a lot with people who are clients and others that come to me, and when they can get the validation and I make the connections and all of those beautiful aspects, they go home in a whole renewed energy. Not only that, I've seen it in a beautiful way a lot of times where that person who has their own spirituality, because everything spiritual is what value do you place upon it, but when they can vibe with their own acceptance of what they feel and how they pick up information, that self-acceptance becomes easier for other people to go, well, okay, you've got a nice energy, you seem to be okay with yourself and you're accepting, you're not that. All right, so what else you have to say? What's that spiritual connection? All right, I'm listening, because you're not scary, you're empowering. And like I do, the more that we know, the more we know. We don't know nothing for nobody, but I'll share my perspective.
Yeah,
I was going
to say that what you're talking about, I even changed the word, and that because you said spirituality, or whatever. How about life path? Or something like that. I mean, people don't realize that what they're doing is the path they're going to take in their life. They're making their own decisions without even knowing it. Ooh. Or it was written for them before they were here. Do they realize what before was, or why it was written, or what written was? Good.
And
then you can sit
will
down
they
and talk.
carry the pattern?
Right, exactly. And it's just a ripple effect that happens over and over and over again.
And it's got to start somewhere.
Let's listen to a little bit of this thing, because I wanted to put this on there. So you get, I mean, I know you do with your remote viewing and things. This'll, I'm telling you, this was disclosure just lately.
Okay.
Hold on.
How is it going to go down? What I do know is that there are groups on this planet that want to tell us the truth. They want to show us the truth. There are ways in which unequivocal proof could be demonstrated. What it probably is going to come down to, as I have heard from Pete Peterson, is that they are going to do things similar to the World's Fair, in which various extraterrestrial craft that crashed and were recovered and kept in places like Hangar 18, Area 51, will be brought to major cities. There will be displays that happen where you can see the ships. Now, I don't know if they're going to allow people to actually go inside the ships, or if they're just going to let them see it from a distance with some kind of barrier in the way. For all I know, they may actually allow you to go inside. So this is what I'm hearing, that there will be a massive amount of technology and information that is released. We very likely will get introduced to various extraterrestrial groups
this year.
This is one of the things I've also heard very consistently. And we've also heard that our own military-industrial complex has very advanced craft that they are going to decloak in our atmosphere. And again, people would say, well, yeah, that's a hoax, right? That's just a Project Bluebeam. It's a hologram. Not if they decloak it and they land it, and then you get inside and take a ride and they film the whole thing, and then you come back. And other people go inside and they film it and they come back. And bear in mind that not only has the Trump administration announced the creation of a space force, but they have the Orion capsule sitting there on the White House lawn right now. And that Orion capsule sure looks an awful lot like a spacecraft, like a UFO, landing on the proverbial White House lawn.
So you see what I mean? These things that we've talked about in the last couple of years, we've talked about on our shows together, are actually going to happen.
Yep. And again, I'm sure that that'll be there, but they're not going to let people jump into those rides. Remember, it's a dimensional frequency as well. And a lot of the ships might have a smaller size. They're freaking huge on the inside. I don't know how that is even possible.
Yeah, right.
But through the technology, it's whatever dimensional shift that they can be in that way. And a lot of these ships are the consciousness of the beings in it. It's literally a ship that's alive.
Right.
And with that, there's a reason why, and again, sound crazy till it's validated, but I've gotten to ride on a few ships that's amazing amazing. And with that, that frequency, if they let you into that ship in this particular circumstance, remember, those vibes are on. If they're going to let you do that, they're going to create their own potential of a destructive connection through the mass consciousness. If they're going to let us do a ride like a fair, I'll guarantee you that that technology is already there. In 1997, the Phoenix Lights, I was sitting there one evening, and I've got it recorded on a digital from way back when, but it was around 10 o'clock, and all of a sudden I was in my backyard looking up at the stars, and it was, quiet, and then all of a sudden I hear these jets, like, and I look up, and there's 3 jets. 2 of the first jets are fairly close together. The third one was kind of way back there. So as the jets, the jets are going like this in a smooth direction, they had an orb, a golden orb, elongated like an oval shape, 3/4 the size of the jet. And so the jets just smooth like this, and the orb was bouncing like a rock, like a skipping rock. I have no idea why, but both golden orbs were like that. They were orb. I couldn't see it. It was just a golden light. But for that third one to have nothing, to me, it was probably the gunner. So just in case something happened or someone was coming from elsewhere, they could help affect it. That stuff, I saw it back then. A lot of this technology is human-made from extraterrestrial technology, back engineering, reverse engineering, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
Again, those things have been given to us.
Right.
Do you really think that they wouldn't pick their ship up with their technology? Really?
Yeah. Well, the people who wrote the book, Phoenix Lights, and that were on this show, and the film person that was on this show, and these people that they were explaining the whole thing and what happened and what they saw and everything else. For some reason, I don't know what it is, but it just makes me uncomfortable. It's like the government with this big butt thing, going over Phoenix and everything else, and then disappearing wherever it did, or cloned, whatever, cloaked. To me, it's like it was the government going, ha, 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 because they re-engineered whatever fell down somewhere, or maybe the aliens are there helping them to build these things. I would bet on the aliens first. And the Norwegian-looking guys, they're around. We know they're around. They've been at shows, for crying out loud. And everybody said, gee, that guy did look a little weird. I'm like, yeah, you dope. Smack. But, it's funny because these things have been going on, and these people have been here forever. Forever. They've been all over the place. We've met them. We've talked. Race. Yep.
We're not originally from here, folks.
No, we're aliens too, so hey, duh.
Very relative, but in addition, we're not originally from this planet as a human species, and we were scrapped a few times. They're not ignorant. That's why you'll never, to me, it's very amusing, but the Darwinian theory of the evolution from apes into humans, that's impossible. Because how can you, as a species, evolve into a whole nother species and still have the exact species that you evolved from right next to each other?
That ain't going to work out. Nope. That ain't going to work.
So, again, I'm sure it's very valid, but the commonsensical aspect would be, well, let's dig a little bit deeper on that. Because how is that possible to evolve as a species? And, just because I like to push buttons, and again, any road to God's a good road, but some perceive that we come from Adam and Eve, and, they're the originals, which is beautiful. But my thing is wow, so were Adam and Eve, were they Caucasian? Because if that is the case, how do we get African Americans, Asians,
different tribes,
Native Americans, all of these things? And I don't know, when did that happen? When did they help give us life? Oh, a couple of thousand years ago? I think, or however long it was. So to me, within that, it's way beyond that. It's way beyond Adam and Eve and the apes and all that kind of stuff.
Don't forget why you're talking about him, and at that particular time that you're talking about, all these things supposedly happened. Don't forget. the South Pole and the North Pole were tropical deserts. Forests at the
Yep.
time. Our Earth was not what it is today. It wasn't. In fact, the poles weren't what they are today. And in fact, even today, they're moving every day. They move.
And land masses. Yep.
Yes. So, and the land masses were one landmass.
That's why they find shells all around the world,
Yeah,
even
yeah.
in deserts. It's like, that's weird. Yeah, well, at one time it was covered.
Exactly. It was covered with water all over the place. And now, as I said, they're building up. I want to see this Atlantis too, and that with all the
That's
technology
cool.
that they have. And getting back to that real quick. I mean, you look it up. Look it up at the what's this? Maybe if I put it in there real quick, and then I can get some crazy thing out of this. Let's see.
I think it's interesting is to the monetary system.
Neo.
If I have 50 billion pieces of paper, is that what it is? Is that what a dollar bill is, a piece of paper? Okay, if I have 50 billion of those, I can get a theme park or I can get a city. It only holds the value that we place upon it. So I just find it interesting. One, because, it's a system of this and energy exchange. But down the road, we're going to more than likely get out of the monetary system and kind of back into more of the bartering, helping other people. You'll have your own talents, those individualized aspects, a variety of others. But it's also from the diversity of all of these things, it's actually allowing us to realize our unity with everything.
What I was going to say was the name of the city is Neom, Neom.
Interesting.
Neom is a Saudi project for a smart and tourist cross-border city. It's going to be 10,232 miles square.
10,000?
10,232 miles squared. The project is located in the far northwest of Saudi Arabia. It will be constructed in Tabuk. It includes marine land located within the Egyptian and Jordanian borders. This thing is going to be huge, and everybody over there wants a piece of it. Can you
Isn't
believe
that
that?
interesting?
Is that a new world order in a sense?
It's a new world organization. Yeah, exactly.
I don't know about that. That's going to be. I mean, everybody's going to. I was like, look. Let's face it. If these guys actually pull this off, which they already have, and then on their little island that they put over there now, that's was a pile of sand a few years ago. If they actually pull this thing off, they're going to put every single country in the world to shame. Because nobody there. First of all, everything that's there in that city is going to be hydroponic. They're going to have growing. They're going to have food. They're going to have every kind of thing you can possibly think of in one place. So all the things that everybody's saying, oh, well, they're starving in this country and they're starving in this country. Nobody is going to starve that's going to go to that city and work there.
And here's the thing. That just becomes the test pilot. Once it's attained, the rest of the world will permeate with that. It will help alleviate all of those diseasements and the negative and all that. When you can get that, and if you can grow things in desert, you can grow things in other places as well. And so it just needs to be enough of a gut. Remember, and it is in that lovely country, but I will tell you, there's more than just that country that's connected to that project.
Oh, sure.
It's not only the Middle East. No. That's just the legal aspect of nothing can be taken away and I can use my, which is perfect, but they've got to put it in a way that not everyone can just open up and have a great life. It's got to be acclimated. Yeah. And we could go on. You sound like a conspiracy nut till it's validated.
I was going to say it's an unconditional or untraditional 500 billion mega city. Wow.
Billion. And we're going to do that one. So if we can do that for one country with that kind of mileage, 10,000, do you really think we can't just skip over to the next continent and go, well, let's help this out? People don't have to be dying of starvation and thirst.
Exactly. People don't realize what it was. I mean, I explained this to somebody the other day, and then they looked at me like I was out of my mind. $1 billion. What is $1 billion. Everybody said, well, this guy's got $7 billion. This guy's got this. Do you know what $1 billion is? $1 billion is 1,000 millions. 1 million times 1,000. That's $1 billion. Now, if one person had $1 million and was, had a good head on their shoulders, their family would never be hungry.
Why?
Forever. On 1 million. This is people who have $1 billion or 2 billion or 3 billion or 4 billion. That's 1,000 1 billions. And they're complaining? Are you kidding? You could buy the damn planet, for crying out loud.
See, and that's the point. Everything's relative. Remember, many years ago, it had a different value. What we have as the amount is way more than what it was accepted back then. The pricing and the things like that was valid. I remember 49 cents a gallon for gas.
I got 25. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm like, man, if it ever gets over $1, I'm not driving. And freaking $4 later, I'm like, where's the gas station? Here we go. It becomes, excuse me, a kind of a dependency. But then they just need to get that, so then they'll acclimate. Then we get to the solar, and then we get to the electric cars, and then we get, dun. So, again, it's an acclimation. We've already had that stuff. Like I said, 30 years ago, they had it already working. Not an idea. It was working. And so...
But you didn't see it.
Yeah, well, that's the thing, yeah. And, they saw it, and I saw it, and they knew me. When I had the presidents come through, Bush and Barbara and all that, do not kid yourself. They did background checks on everybody who was there. They made sure they knew exactly who was working those functions. And I was very honored because I was the supervisor, so they seemed to really like me, and I was always working those kinds of dynamics. And in addition, I got to talk to all the Secret Service people that would be around, seven Secret Service all the time, no matter where they go. They've got different teams of it. So it's not always that. But anyhow, I was saying stuff that I shouldn't have been saying. And
Whoops.
The very next morning when I was coming back to work, it was a freaky, weird experience. After that, I didn't say anything else to those people. Like, got it. Perfect. Because that's how easy things could have changed, just like that. And again, not everything.
You wanted to live, right? I mean, it was okay,
I needed to get to now just to go see what I do, everyone can do, and I just want to share information. Don't have to accept it, but some information of potential of what we're doing and dealing with that we may not even be aware of.
Oh, boy.
So it's like, all right, we'll take it down a notch. No crazy, but watch, ladies and gentlemen, when these things start to come out to the public going, well, there actually is frozen water on Mars, and, however they'll present it, people are like, oh, so we didn't know. Really? Well, if they've been around that planet the whole time with satellites, do you really think that they didn't have an idea that, yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
so,
yeah. Sure, right. Anyway,
but
tell everybody where they can get you.
Yeah, check me out at jamieclark.net. In addition, Bob and I are going to put together, I'm actually working on a video for Psychic Evolution training cards. It's excellent. And we have even more ways to read the cards. We're putting together also a kit that will go with the cards as well. Once we get that accomplished, it's awesome because we'll have at least 12 different ways to read the cards.
Really?
That's the point. Yeah, we want versatility. Like me, this is what I did with my mom. This is some of the dynamics I studied with my mom and doing this for 20 years. And I found that the way that my mom and I did it were very effective. And all of the others are great. But for the Xenar cards, they were lovely, and they've been the main go-to. But that was just the 5 shapes. And then it became the decline effect, meaning if there wasn't stimulation and you were just doing shapes, and yet you sometimes tended to go down in your accuracy of information because it was a boring thing. So for me, I learned that the shapes and the colors, animals, people have different connections. Some love animals, some love landscapes, others love beings, others love whatever the case is. You'll vibe with that. And then I give you a variety of different ways to read it, and you'll come across tools and techniques that you didn't even know, but you might be really good at. And so my job is to give you tools and techniques. You don't have to listen or use them, but it's gotten me to this far, and it's going to go.
They're very interesting.
Yeah.
They really are. And me, I'm serious, man. When I'm all done, man, I'll start beating people up.
Oh.
I'm ready. I am ready, for sure. I mean, it's like, hey, listen, it's good
Well, it's all
stuff.
about the love, man. If we can give tools and techniques and share in any way, that's all we're doing, ladies and gentlemen, is just sharing our perspective. But I can only, share from me, but what I share and I have done is huge. That's why I want to give as much information, just so, you can amuse yourself if you're even interested, for a variety of different perspectives. Because on the average, most of us have a very focused point of view.
Mm-hmm. Just want to remind everybody in that too, and that Jamie will be back February 20th. So therefore, in 2 weeks, he'll be here. Use the phone. You've got a telephone number.
I'm going to be talking to a person that she deals with some of the beings that I deal with and some of the studies that I've kind of worked with. So I'm going to see if I can get her on our show in 2 weeks. I think it would be very interesting. And she's given me some information and validation that I'm very thankful for, because it seems to be manifesting more effectively. That's why you sound like a nut job till it's validated. Once it starts to manifest or you experience it in your own way, then it's real. Otherwise, well, that's nice, but I don't know. I haven't experienced it.
Oh, duh.
So, it's all of these dynamics that if we can give you the information, at least you have a different perspective. Not better or worse, but different. More information to work with.
Sounds good.
About the love. Bobby, always good, brother.
We are always out of here, but I'm telling you, this when people start calling in, this could go, and you have the time, this could go a little bit longer.
I'm open. You got it.
I'm serious. I mean, I'm prepared to give every caller 1 minute.
And that's a beautiful thing. I remember when we started, I was kind of getting a little challenged, in some of the shows, why aren't they calling in? Yeah. Until people were saying, well, we love the conversation and the information that's being shared. I'm like, oh,
they're listening. They're not calling. We're answering everybody's questions. We've just today, just the things that we said were things that people have never heard before. Can you imagine?
And the good thing is, if we can give you enough different perspectives, maybe you get your own perspective within all of that. And that's the biggest thing, is to trust what you feel about your life. You're the only one who's going to live it. And if we can have our own life experiences and share it with you, realize you're not alone. Because sometimes, this gets alone. Like, is anyone else experiencing this? Because Lordy, I don't have a clue. And then, wow, you're in the family, the Pyramid One Network family.
There you go.
And in this, we're creating this living library together. That's the point. Yeah. And you've got thousands of shows with different perspectives to enjoy if you'd like to. That's what it's all about, is helping each other, at least giving and sharing information.
Bingo.
And as always.
So there you go. Meanwhile, back at the ranch. Oh, yeah.
Awesome. Love and light.
Oh, we are. Stay right there. God bless y'all. Bob Charles.